everyone, I'm Megan and this is Elizabeth and we're keepers in the children's zoo, and today we are here with our Poitou donkeys. This is a special day for us because Inspector Maigret is turning 3. So today is his birthday, and you can tell he's getting some very special treats today. This is some peanut butter on a Jolly Ball, which is quite messy for him, but he loves it. It's a special snack. And then we put some enrichment around the yard for him too. We filled his little carrot feeder ball with some sweet potatoes and apples that we're gonna give to him. And we have our fire hose ball with some celery sticks in there. So hopefully he'll be thrilled with all his extra birthday snacks today. But these guys live upwards to about 30 years, so he is young here. If you look to our right, we have Volavan. She's kind of hiding right now, but she is our 13-year-old Poitou donkey. They are a breeding pair. So these guys are a critically endangered breed. They're a heritage breed, which means that they've been around for a long time. They were used as a working breed from France originally. There's roughly a couple hundred to a couple thousand left in captivity now. They're not too much out in the wild anymore, and they're not used on farms for working donkeys anymore. But Mr. Inspector here came to us when he was just a few months old. He was much shorter, much fluffier. He came from Texas, and then Volavan came from Vermont. And you can tell they're really unique because of this cool shaggy coat they have. Right now he's shedding a lot, but he's kind of got like a dreadlock look to him, and that's very natural for these Poitou. And they got those big, tall, fuzzy ears, which I think makes them look extra cute. But you can tell he's still growing, so we weigh them monthly. He's about 700 pounds right now. Volavan is over 1,000 pounds, closer to 1,100 right now. So Jedi's still got some growing to do, but he's known for those tall, lanky legs. But every day we clean in here. They usually eat hay, so we give them some fresh hay in their yard and their stalls. And then part of our daily routine is grooming. So every day we'll brush them out. It's a little bit different than a horse. We don't so much use like a full curry comb and dandy brush, but we basically use a hairbrush because they have that thick fur, and we'll brush out any hay or shavings. You can see Jedi, or Inspector Maigret, sorry, Jedi is his nickname. We call him as keepers. He loves to roll in the dirt. Right before we started this Zoo to You live, he was rolling around, so he loves to get covered in shavings and dirt. It helps kind of cool him down. I think he does it sometimes just to scratch and play. So we love to give them a good brush every day, and then we also work with them on picking their hooves daily. So you can see Elizabeth is getting a lot of that fur out since he is shedding right now.
Francis is wondering what he's licking at. So for the late joiners, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is peanut butter that our keepers smeared on a Jolly Ball. So it's a fun enrichment item that we can give him. He has a long list of novel foods, and peanut butter is one of his favorites. It's funny to watch him eat it though, because it's so sticky. It gets all over his mouth, and sometimes he'll sit there and smack his lips. But the Jolly Ball is one of his favorite items to use. Sometimes us as keepers, we can play tug of war with them. We've tried to train him to drop it in a bucket, but that isn't quite successful yet. I'll give him that one too. He loves sweet potatoes, celery. a couple days a week they get a food item called bran as well. It's kind of like an oatmeal. They love it. Sure.
To see if there's any more questions.
Is there any other questions? If not, I can tell you a little bit more about what we do so you can still see that he's standing fairly nicely for Elizabeth here with a halter on. We work with them almost daily on training. So when Inspector Maigret first came here, putting a halter on him was one of the first behaviors we wanted him to learn. And that helped us so we could eventually clip on a cross tie, or you can see right now he's on a lead. This is helpful because in the stall we'll tie him on a cross tie ring so he stands still for grooming. But it's also helpful because we can walk him. We'll walk him to our main barn here in the Children's Zoo, and we have what we call stocks down there. So it's basically like this little structure that he walks in. He can stand inside it with the doors closed, and he stands there for maybe a blood draw or a physical from the vets. So we'll work closely with the vets and the vet techs on practicing medical behaviors to be trained.
Shantane is wondering how old he is and how many donkeys we have.
Yeah, so today is a special day because he's 3 years old today. Very exciting. And then we also have Volovan, who is 13 years old. These are our only 2 Poitou donkeys, but here at the Children's Zoo you can also see some of our miniature Sicilian donkeys. We have Eleanor and Paisley on the farm. You can tell some differences with donkeys there. They're much smaller, different colors. They're a more gray color, but they have a cool striped marking down their back, which is pretty unique to their breed.
And Jessica is wondering when and where is the best time to see them here at the zoo?
Yeah, so during the day, for sure in the morning, they are always out in the yard munching on some fresh hay. Sometimes in the afternoon you can catch them taking a nap in their stalls, sometimes rolling in the dirt. But they are right next to the Franklin Farm main barn. If you're near the Nature's Neighborhood Eagle's Nest, they're kind of tucked in their own little barn area. But they are constantly out. So you could walk by at any time during the day and see them.
Tim is wondering how long donkeys can live to.
Yeah, so they can live like upwards 25 to 30 years. So Inspector Maigret here is on the young side for sure. And like I said before, we do a lot of training with them to monitor, which is really helpful as they do age. Just like a horse, they could potentially develop different diseases or illnesses. So that's why we go through voluntary blood draws and physicals just to make sure that they're healthy at a right weight and hopefully live with us as long as they possibly can.
Maybe one last question. What are we munching on here? What's in the square package?
Yeah, so this one, it looks like it's filled with some sweet potatoes, apples, and celery. Jedi, or Inspector, sorry, I keep doing that, calling him by his nickname. He is a fan of the sweet, sugary treats for sure. But it's also fun to give them other enrichment items other than food. We'll give them scent enrichment some days, like cinnamon. We can sprinkle around. Sometimes it's fun to give them shavings or fur from another animal that they get to sniff around and play with. Or even just training. Sometimes we'll just target him around a traffic cone and make him go through an agility course just to get him doing something different. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our Zoo to You with Inspector Maigret and our Poitou donkeys here at the Children's Zoo at Franklin Park Zoo.